Good morning, evening, afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark,
And I'm Zoe.
and we are the Board Adventurers, back to you with our top 50 games of all time. Today we're going to be doing 30 to 21. There's some pretty good ones I want to say in this list.
Yeah.
I want to say if I was to look at my list, I'd say there are slightly newer games on this list. And some, let me see. Yeah, there's going to be some newer games on this list. How about you?
For me, this section of the list is a lot of older game. I think there's only one newer game on this section. This is like oldies here.
Yeah,
Stuff
I
that
feel
for
like-
me is just classics. Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to spoil some of my top list at the end of this year on this list, this section of the list.
Really,
here,
I'm excited to hear this part.
Yeah, okay. All right, so with that being said, we're going to start with our number 30. My number 30 is a game from Restoration Studios. We only have we have two of the types of these games. You have the co-op, and then I have the more competitive version. But this is Unmatched. Unmatched is a 2 to 4 player game, but typically you play it with two. It's like a PvP almost.
Yeah.
You're trying to beat your other person's character down to 0. I only have the Cobble and Fog version. I am very interested in playing the other versions, but as I kept thinking about it and playing it recently, Unmatched has climbed to this point. I know during last year it was like my number 8. But as I kept thinking about it, I'm like, I really do like this game. You have allies that you can have. You can have positional situations. One of my favorite things is that for any kind of range, you just have to be on the same color. So it's one of the easiest things to look at when you're looking at the board. It's like, am I in range? I'm in the same color. I'm in range.
Yeah.
It's just so simple in what it does. 3 actions. It's great. This is my number 30. This is Unmatched.
Nice. Unmatched is a great game. The asymmetry is probably one of the better.
Yeah.
A lot of the games.
Yeah, like they just feel so different. Like the Invisible Man can create this fog you can just jump through. I am interested in Battle of Legends. I want to get that volume, I think, 2, because it has, I think, the Monkey King in there. That's the one I want to play, kind of.
Nice.
So we'll see when we get. Let's see if I can get the copy later.
Nice. Well, we'll say I did buy a new Unmatched set yesterday.
Did you?
I got the Daredevil one with Daredevil, Electra,
nice.
and Bullseye because
Marvel.
I love Daredevil.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna get the TMNT one.
There's a TMNT one.
There's a TMNT one, and there's a Witcher one too. So I might get that one too.
I might get the TMT one. That sounds really good.
Yeah, that's perfect for Unmatched.
Right.
Cool. So my number 30 is an old game, but it's a game that I played for the first time this year, and it's really up my alley. It just kind of works for me. This is Raw.
Oh, nice.
I really enjoy Raw. It's a simple auction game where you're auctioning for pieces. And I love how the Raw works as well in terms of like forcing you to bid kind of thing.
Right.
It's a really fun game. I did play it for the first time this year, and I think with like subsequent playthroughs, it may go up or down. It's tough with these like limited playthrough games, but the first time I played it, it's like it really left an impression. I really enjoyed the simplicity of it.
Right.
Of this just a pure auction kind of idea to the game. But also feeling like a party game in a way too.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah,
So,
our group has been really liking Raw a lot recently.
Yeah, Raw is
It feels
good.
like it comes out every game group.
yeah, 100%. Cool. That's my number 30.
Nice. My 29, I have a feeling, is going to be higher on your list. I think. This is a game from Stonemaier Games. So shout out to Stonemaier for this. This is a 1 to 5 player war simulation kind of game in like alternate reality simulation. This is Scythe. I got Scythe back when it got big in 2016. My wife at the time bought me the game for my birthday, and I was really excited to get it to the table because it was rated very highly. It took me about a year and a half to play it, But I'm so glad I did because this game is just so good. It's again like they give you two little player boards. You can look at the review for how we reviewed it, but every faction just feels different. The mechs that go into it just feel different. Like you would think by looking at the board, it looks like a war game where it's like you're going to be constantly attacking your opponent, but it's not really. It's like a more of a resource gathering type of thing, and you're trying to almost move stuff on tracks to try to to be the most efficient possible, and that's where the beauty of this game shines, I think. I haven't played the Rise of Fenris yet, which creates those little variants in endgame conditions. But that's one I really want to do because I love that variability of what you can have to finish the game.
Yeah.
So that's something I will look into, but this game will always like be a hit when it hits the table. This is my number 29. This is safe.
It's a great game. You're right. It's going to be higher on my list. My number 29 is another two-player game. One that I believe I played for the first time this year as well.
You didn't go through all your two-player games yet?
Not yet.
Oh, man.
Not yet. I'm actually probably going to finish that on this list. But number 29 is Targi.
Okay.
Targi is, I think, for me, Targi is one of my favorite worker placement games. I think it just, something about the idea of putting a worker placement and then what you can take is that line and it's like intersecting line is like super clever.
Yeah.
Because normally for me, worker placement games are able to be played at two-player, but they're never fun at two-player. And I feel like this one kind of knows that and solved that.
I see.
And how that works. And I think it just really works for me. And I love the tableau building aspect of it as well. They're just scoring based off the cards that you get and pay for. And there's different scoring based off of the type of card it is and how it aligns with everything. I like that aspect of it too. I think it's a very clever game.
Yeah, because like it combines like that set collection with that almost like tactical placement on the board.
Yeah.
And like you have to pivot almost a lot for that.
But it's a great game. But yeah, that's my number 29.
Targi is my number 52. It just missed my list.
That is funny.
I like it. Definitely not as much as you did, but I think looking at my list, I definitely tend to like my multiplayer games more, which is why a lot of my two players made it further down my list.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah. I was incorrect on one of the previous videos by saying that I think Dead of Winter was my third highest co-op game. This is my third highest co-op game on this list. This is the newest co-op game that we've played, or that I played this year. This is Sleeping Gods. This massive storybook of a game is by Red Raven Games, I believe.
Yeah.
And designer was Ryan Lockett. This game is it just feels like an adventure.
Yeah.
It feels like everywhere you go on your turn, you're always discovering something new and interacting with something just so differently. We've played through one whole scenario, I guess. No, not scenario, but like a whole a campaign of it.
Yeah.
And it feels like we went through maybe 10% of the game.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
And it felt like we did a lot of moving. But basically this game is you go to a location, you interact with that location by reading a passage from the book. That book will tell you then some sort of rolling mechanism or like some sort of a check that you need to perform. And based on the characters that you have and who you send into it, you can either pass it or fail it, and then something resolves. And each of the characters are just so different, like because they give you different abilities, they give you different items, they give you ways to upgrade it so that the check passes more.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that playthrough that we had of Sleeping Gods.
Yeah.
I want to set this up so that we have our game group go through it too.
I agree.
I think they would really like it.
They would be super into it.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the setup and teardown because if we keep shifting it in and out, I don't know how we're gonna be able to keep track, but
Yeah.
if you haven't played Sleeping Gods yet, it's a great game. I played Above and Below. I wasn't as enamored with it, and I was hesitant going into Sleeping Gods, but Sleeping Gods hits so hard,
Yeah.
and so good. This is my number 8. This is Sleeping Gods.
Nice. Good stuff. So my number 28 is also a co-op game. It's a co-op game that's just up my alley. This is Marvel United.
Nice.
I haven't played Marvel United. It's a Marvel-based co-op game in which you pick a character, and you're going to be battling a villain or villains based off of whatever scenario that you pick, and you're going to be saving civilians, beating up bad guys, and attacking the villain that you're fighting. And how it works, you're gonna play a card. That card is gonna have like abilities and different effects on it. And then when your teammate plays their own card, they choose one of their attacks or abilities and choose another from the previous cards. So that's how it kind of works in a co-op setting.
Yeah.
I really like that because I don't love a ton of co-op games because my issue is always the quarterbacking. I'm susceptible to quarterbacking. If someone tells me, hey, we should do this, I usually just kind of go along with it, but it makes me not enjoy the game as much. This one kind of, even if you have someone that's kind of a quarterback in the game, you still have the autonomy to make your own choice.
Yeah.
I like that a lot in this game. And it's pretty light, it's pretty fun, and based off of how light it is, there's a ton of characters in there that each have feels different, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about it is that the card that you have prior to when you play becomes part of your action.
Yeah.
So you're actually you're trying to communicate to people like, hey, I need this. Can you give me that? That's where the cooperative nature comes in that I think is just so beautiful about this game.
Yeah.
It's not on my list. I was surprised it didn't make my 50.
Yeah.
But, this is a good game. I do like this game.
I will say I am surprised by how high it got up. I thought it was going to be in the 40s. But yeah, I really enjoy this. Made me realize I need to play this more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. That's my number 28, Marvel United.
Yeah, Marvel United is great. Yeah. There's more to say, but I'll say it. My number 27 is a 2-player game. A game that you don't like as much because you don't like Bruno Catala. This is Seven Wonders Duel. If you haven't watched our 2-player games list, go watch that. It was spicy, that one. I couldn't believe it. But this guy doesn't like Seven Wonders Duel. Seven Wonders Duel. It's just so good. I played it recently after we did our list, and I just like, man, this is such a good game. I just that tension you get when you're trying to go down one of the tracks, when you're trying to do all of the science, and you're trying to get a certain symbol, and the person that's going against you is like hoarding it so that they prevent you. And then they flip over a card and it's the last science symbol and you can't take it because it's their turn. It was heartbreaking. But that's what makes me love this game. There's so many twists and turns in this game. It's like you can't prepare for everything, but you can try to shoot the moon. And that endorphin kick you get by trying to go for one of the tracks as opposed to just the end game scoring is just so good. This game is designed to like almost perfection. I love this game. This is Seven Wonders Duel.
Nice. Seven Wonders Duel, although it did not make my top 10 2-player list or my 50, I do like the game. I think it's somewhere in like the 70s, 80s for me. But it's a good game.
Yeah.
Are you going to get the new version of it?
There's a new version?
So they're doing a retheming Lord of the Rings version of Seven Wonders Duel.
Are they?
Yeah, it's coming out in October.
Yeah, I'm not as enthralled with the Lord of the Rings theme, but I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I love the mechanics of this game. If they retheme it, it might add to it.
Yeah, 100%. But good choice. So my number 27 is a small card game, and I really enjoy small card games that has like really fun decisions. This is Bandito.
Bandito is your number 27?
I like Bandito a lot. Yeah, what? I think it's fun. I think it's an easy rule set. You're trying to get two robbers or a robber out of a cave, essentially, right?
Oh, you're trying to box him in.
Box him in. You're trying to box him in. Yeah. And you're flipping over cards and trying to connect them based off of what that you have. and they all have different shapes, and like it's just really fun. It's really clever. It's really, there's a lot of tension to it.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. Just flipping a card, putting it somewhere in a tableau, trying to connect things.
Yeah. Yep.
I really like that. I like small card games with clever design and its simplicity.
Yeah, it's hard because like when you're trying to rotate the piece that you have from your hand, it's like I want to try to loop this back into each other. Like so, you'll place a piece thinking that you can loop them both back.
Yeah.
But then someone places a piece that extended out to the right, and you're just like, no, that's not what I wanted you to do.
It's so clever.
You ruined everything.
I know it's hard to plan in this game, but that's part of the fun of it, right?
Yeah,
so it's a really good game.
And it just there's such a satisfaction in this game when you finally cut off the last piece. It's like I caught him. But that's a good game. It was part of my 100, but it didn't make it in the list either.
No worries. But yeah, it's a great game. I'm surprised it even made it here too.
Yeah, it's high.
Yeah, I like it.
Very
it's
high.
Good. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's my number 27.
All right. My 26 comes with a big caveat. I would only want to play this game with 5 players. This is a game by Arcane Wonders.
Oh, I know what this is. Okay.
And it's a game where you're playing a phone tech company and you're trying to sell phones to the world. This is Smartphone Inc. Smartphone Inc. I've played it with 3, 4, and 5, and 5 hits the best. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the YouTube world agree with that 5. It kind of hits it because when you have the 3 to 4 player, you have a lot more expansive parts of the world that you can expand to without overlapping your opponent.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this game comes where you're trying to battle your opponent for certain regions. In this game, you're trying to develop phones, sell them at a price, a lower price than your opponent's, because lower price gets bought first.
Yeah.
And this is one of the cool things about this game, because we haven't reviewed it yet, is that you pick your turn order first. So everyone starts off at $5 a phone. When you reveal these tiles that you overlay to each other, all the symbols will either up the price or lower the price of the phone. Whatever price your phone is where you go based on turn order. So the lower price you have, the more in turn order you go. I think that's a beautiful mechanic.
Yeah.
I think like it makes it so that you're trying to picture what do you want to prioritize. Do I want to make money this round because money is victory points? Or do I want to get into a region so that next turn I can box my opponent out? And this game is only done in 5 rounds. This game can be finished maybe about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And the 8 rounds are just so simple to run through. This game is just beautifully designed. But I would really only play it at 5.
Yeah.
We haven't played the expansion yet, which we have. I think you can play it at a 2 and 3. It compresses the board. But I still think 5 is where this shines. So I would say, play this at 5. This is Smartphone Inc., my number 26.
Yeah, it's a great choice. It's a beautiful looking game too. Like the production is great.
Yeah, and the theme isn't very like striking. It's like it looks very mechanical.
It does, but it works though.
It does.
It really works, and it's. I think it's one of the better economic games out there.
Yeah,
definitely, 100%. Good choice. My number 26 is a game I know for a fact is on your list, way up there, and I think you'd be surprised that it's number 26. This is Res Arcana. This is a great set collection, card playing, elemental drafting game. Yeah. It's a lot of good ideas in it. My favorite aspect of this game is how balanced it is. If a game can be balanced, I'm just impressed by it. This is a game that's, you're scoring victory points based off of the cards that you're playing. And you only battle up to 10 points.
Yep.
And it feels like, even if you feel like you're not doing much in terms of collecting pieces and playing out the cards that you need to in order to get victory points, you still find yourself still in the game. And I think that's really impressive design to make it feel that way. Just through the course of playing the game, you're getting something out of it.
Right.
I like that. I really, really like that aspect of it. It's a simplified, it's a very simple game in terms of what you're doing, but there's a lot going on in it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I like
I
that
can
aspect.
see like there's some arguments where it just feels too mechanical, and like the theme is just pasted on, and like I
Sure,
get that.
yeah.
But a lot of the times, like when you're just doing like kind of like resource conversion, I think the elementals just get to me. I do really like this game. It feels also like just every game it's just different because you only have 8 cards
Yeah.
as your deck,
Yeah.
and you have to be able to use it in a way that like efficiently like gets you to 10 in the most
Yeah.
efficient way possible. So a lot of times when you have a card that gives you an effect, there's an action in this game where you can discard a card for resources, and I think that's a beautifully balanced little like mechanism you add in there, because in some games this card might be very viable and I use it to get points,
Yeah.
but in other games this might not work with your deck, so I would just discard it for resources. It's like there's multi-use for the cards on the effect and also by discarding it, and it's great.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, like the small deck that you have, right? Because you're drafting the deck, and even if you don't totally know what you're drafting, the cards still have enough synergy that you're in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
So like even if you're a new player playing against veterans of the game, you're still in the game even if you feel like you drafted incorrectly the first time around.
Yeah,
I do like that aspect of the game as well.
Yeah, and the worst case is if you don't even want to do the draft to save time with new players, you can just draft 4 and 4, make a deck of 8, and that's what you got.
True, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a great game. But that's my number 26.
Yeah, the other color might be up higher.
Oh, it's in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. My number 25. I guess if I could say there's another subcategory in this 10, it's a Bruno Catala category. This is sea salt and paper. This is a simple kind of card game where you're just trying to race up to a certain amount of victory points, and you do it by playing rounds. Whenever anyone hits 7, they can stop the round at any time, or they can keep going.
Yeah.
One of the beauties in this game is that if at 7 you think you have the most points and nobody else can catch you, you can try to last chance it, meaning like everyone gets another round, but you don't, and they have a chance to beat or tie your score. I think you win ties, right? You ties.
I think so.
I think even if you tie, I think you still win. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, if somehow that happens, then you get a color bonus based on the most of a certain color in your hand. Sea salt and paper just hits very well at all player counts. It's so easy to get through. I think one of the things I love about my games on these lists is that they eat up time correctly. It doesn't feel like there's downtime in between, and it feels like all your actions are quick. And that's what I love about these games. Bruno can keep hitting. This is such a good game. This is sea salt and paper.
It's a great game. I love that game.
Yeah.
Cool. Great choice. So my number 25 is a dice placement game. One that I kind of pretty enjoy. This is Fantastic Factories.
Wow.
Yeah, Fantastic
That is
Factories.
high.
Yeah, I'm surprised it got that high as well. But I love Fantastic Factories. I like the two errors kind of games where you're drafting something and then you're running an engine. I like this engine building game, and I think there's a ton of games like these that we've played, like Gizmos and Furnace. But I think Fantastic Factories is my favorite one because the cards that you're winning, that you're getting, are all unique, right? They're not really not a lot of cards derivative of each other.
Yeah.
And it's doing something interesting that I really like.
And it's dice placement, right?
And it's dice placement.
Yeah.
And which really shocked me because I thought Gizmos would be my favorite of those type of games. But I think that some of their cards are a little too similar.
Gizmos isn't in your 50.
No, Gizmos is not in 50. Gizmos, I think, is like 55 or 56.
Oh, man, you were a champion of Gizmos.
I think it's a great game.
Yeah.
I think it's slept on, but it's not the top 50.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, Fantastic Factories just does it for me in terms of running the engine is my favorite aspect of Fantastic Factories because you can build a really, really fun, unique engine.
Yeah.
So like every time I played it, I try to build something different, and I really enjoy like figuring out how it runs and going off of that.
Yeah. I would have put Fantastic Factories on my list if I had played it, I think, a little more. I think it would have definitely made my list, but I think I've only played it twice.
Yeah, I have the expansion. Maybe we can pull it out with the expansion.
Yeah,
See how that
I'd
goes.
be down. I mean, those two plays that we had were really good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Good stuff. That's my number 25, Fantastic Factories.
Nice. My 24, I'm gonna say, if I'm looking at my entire list, is my only racing game on this list. I think probably know which one it is.
Is it Heat?
It's Heat.
Nice.
I'm a sucker for Days of Wonder games, man. It is. They come out with a new game, and I'm automatically interested.
Yeah.
The art style for me just pops every single cover. But Heat is a racing game where you're in like a sort of Formula One car.
I think so.
I think it is. We're not really racing people, so we're just guessing. But in this game, you can play it up to 6. Again, you can play a higher player count. But you're racing around the track twice. You can add in weather. You can add in car upgrades to update your deck. But in your deck, you have a deck of 10 cards. I think it's 10 cards. No, it's more than 10 cards. I think it's like 12 to 15 or something like that. But you're mixing in Heat, which are these like red cards. They're meant to clog up your hand, and the only way you can do that is by downshifting and then cooling down your engine. But by doing that, you're only allowed to play lesser cards. So the idea is that you can go faster by playing more cards, but you might likely gain Heat. And there's these areas on the board where if you have a tight curve, they have a certain number that you're not allowed to pass. If you go around that curve with say if you go around a curve and the number on that curve is 5, and you go around it with an 8, you take Heat based on the difference between your speed and the turning radius or the turning speed. That's one of the cool balances of this game, is that someone can't just really get all the way far ahead and then just go away from everybody.
Yeah.
It also helps last place because you can draft behind people, and that adds like a really cool mechanism that you can move forward to if you're behind or next to another car.
Yeah.
He's such a great game. I play so many iterations of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying this about my top 25. We have reached the point where I love every single one of these games. There's so many good memories that I have of these games.
Nice.
And Heat, I think, is now my favorite racing game. This is my number 24. This is Heat.
Nice, good choice. Heat is also one of my favorite racing game. Racing game is just not a genre I enjoy, so Heat didn't make my 50, but it is the best racing.
Didn't Heat make your 50?
No, I think it's maybe in the 60s.
Is there a racing game in there?
No.
Cubitos didn't make your 50?
No, Cubitos is low. I think in racing it's probably Cubitos, Thunder Road, and then Heat. I think Jamaica's in there somewhere too. But yeah, he didn't make the 50. This is
Bruno Catala region.
I know. I love Bruno.
Okay, all right. That's my number 24. This is Heat.
So my number 24 is my favorite 2-player game of all time. This is Watergate. I think a cheat code for me in terms of enjoying a game is if it takes a unique theme and the rule set matches that. It's very thematic and it matches it perfectly, and I think Watergate is one of the best games for that. And it's an asymmetric 2-player game, which I enjoy as well, in which one person is playing the Nixon administration or Nixon in general, another person is playing the journalist that's trying to take him down. Nixon is trying to gain momentum and get off scot-free, while the journalists are trying to connect
It's
conspirators to Nixon on a whiteboard, essentially, that's connecting evidence to Nixon so you can take him down, essentially.
Yeah.
And each of you guys have your own unique deck that works so well.
Yeah.
It makes it hard for the other person to play the game. It just works really well thematically. It's there. I like the fact that the game is very political without being political, if that makes any sense. It's just historical, which I like as well. It's a beautiful looking game. At least I think so. I love the fact that the cards are multi-use. You could use it for 2 different things.
One of the best things about this game.
It's so good. And you have a small deck, so you learn your cards fairly quickly. But because they're multi-use, it doesn't feel like you have a small deck.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like like every time you draw cards, like, do I want to use it to move my initiative token? Do I want to move a file token?
Yeah.
Do I want to use it for the effect?
Yeah.
If I use it for the effect, it's an event. I lose it permanently. It's like those choices in games are what makes board gaming just so fun.
100%. And Watergate does it better than most, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think all the choices they made in that game have been like perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 24.
Nice. My 23 is a crossover from a previous list. This is, again, another newer game to us this year. We reviewed it on the channel. It's still a great game. This is The White Castle.
Oh, nice.
From Devere. The White Castle, yeah. I just think about the efficiency of White Castle. I still have no idea how to get my my dove token past summer. I get spring into summer and I'm like, how does anyone get it past this? Like, you would have to focus specifically on moving that little token and getting daimyo. We did a review on it, so you can check the channel. But this game just is an efficiency puzzle on steroids. I just don't know how you can do so well in this game. I feel like every time I play, I try to outdo my last score.
Yeah.
And every time, like into turn 3, I'm like, I feel like I'm just doing a well action. I need the money. It creates such good decisions, and sometimes it could cause some AP, but in our group we haven't had that issue. So if you haven't checked out The White Castle, check it out. I love this game. This is my number 23.
It's a great choice. Like I said before when I talked about it on the previous list, once it clicked for me that this is just extend your actions as long as possible, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And it just really shot up, and it's a great game if you love efficiency puzzles like you said before.
White Castle. Oh, it's a good.
So number 23 is a deduction hidden movement game that I haven't played as many times as I would like, but it's one that really stuck with me and I really enjoyed it. This is Mind Management.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mind Management is in your top 20?
Yeah.
Top 20, 30?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
If you know about me, I really enjoy comic books. If you haven't noticed, I have a lot of Marvel stuff on my list. But outside of this Marvel DC, I read love a lot of independent comics. And I love the fact that they made a game based off of this comic, Mind Management, which is a really cool, unique art style to it. And I like that they just took that art style and put it in the game as well. Yeah. It's probably going to look a little weird to a lot of board game people because it's very stylized, but it really works in this. And I love the hidden movement style to it. Like, it's a 1v all. You're trying to find someone on a board based off of things in each little square, and you're trying to figure out where they are, and you have abilities that you use. It's really, really cool. I am really, really bad at this game. I got nowhere close to winning. I was terrible in the all version, and I was worse as the one. But I still really, really enjoy this game. It's cool. It makes me want to buy more from this company off the Pages game.
Yeah, they came out with like Harrow County, I think, recently. I've heard on that one.
Yeah.
But Mind Management, is great. Yeah. Have you played like some of the other scenarios where like they add walls or stuff like that?
I haven't played most of the other scenarios. Just a couple of the base. Yeah.
The stuff that they add into this game to kind of help balance certain things is very clever. In what they do.
And I want to go through all those scenarios too. Yeah. It's a great game.
Yep. Cool. Nice.
That's my number 23.
My 22 is the only crossover on this current 10. What we have. What do you think we got?
Crossover.
Only
Raw?
one. It's Raw.
Wow.
Raw. Again, our group loves this game. Maybe not loves, but we really enjoy this game. And it feels like we bring this out every single time we play. We have a game group. But it's just such a simple auction game. Yeah. It's just you take the bag. You can do one of three things. You can pick the tile out of the bag. You can invoke Raw, or you can use one of your tiles, right? To take one of the tiles out on the board.
Yeah.
I think it's like a god tile.
Yeah.
So the idea with Raw is just like you're trying to get the most amount of points, and that's a combination of like these pharaoh tokens, these tribe, if you have tribes, you have your Nile and river tiles. You have, I think the big thing is the obelisk or the structures.
Yeah.
Right, those purple ones. They add a lot of end game scoring, but they only score in the very end, so you have to build your points up to that point. I think all the avenues are very viable in terms of scoring in this game. I really, this game has grown a lot. I think it was on my games to play this year, and I'm glad I did because
Nice.
this is such a good game.
It's
This
a
is
great
my
game.
number 22. This is Raw.
That's a great choice. It's funny that we like crossover in this list specifically.
Yeah.
My number 22 is a game I played for the first time this year, and I thought I was gonna like it. I didn't think I was gonna love it. It really stayed with me. It's a fun card playing game. This is Forest Shuffle.
Ooh, Forest Shuffle made
Yeah,
the list.
this is great, and it definitely has an Earth feel into it, which I really enjoy. And I love the tuck in. So like if you haven't played Forest Shuffle, it's really just playing cards out into this like card tableau kind of thing. You have a tree, and you're playing cards to the left, the right, the bottom, and above the tree. And it scores based off of where you play and what you play.
Yeah.
And as you get cards, you realize there's a specific synergy that you're looking for. That cards give each other points based off of what they are. And I like that aspect of the game a lot, in which it's not very, how can I say this? It's not like there's four synergies, like this, that, or that.
Yeah.
There's so many different combinations of point gathering in this game.
Right.
So many things work towards each other.
Yeah.
Makes it hard to make decisions, but it's also fun to go like, can I complete this? Can I do this?
Yeah.
But you also want to keep in mind what your opponents are doing as well, because in this game there's I guess this foresty aspect to it.
Yeah.
Where you put cards out that your opponent can pick up.
Yeah.
And you don't, if you're not using it, you want to discard cards there.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to give your opponent cards.
Right, because they can draw from that kind of
Exactly.
pasture area. So you want like when that area, I believe, exceeds 10 at the end of your turn, you wipe the thing. So you want to be able to wipe it so your opponent can't take it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of almost like slightly planning, but with like a lot of efficiency in it. Yeah, Forest Shuffle is good, but yeah, I don't know if it would have made my 50.
No worries.
based on that.
But yeah, it's a great game. That is my number 22 for
Nice.
Shuffle.
My 21, I think, is a game going to be higher again on your list. This is a game that was on my top 10 of last year, and it's grown with recent plays. This is an economic game where you're buying and selling hotels for stocks. This is Acquire. I played a recent game of Acquire with, I believe, a full 6 people.
Oh, nice.
Still hits really well. I feel like every turn you're always engaged in what is that person putting out? Is a new hotel getting put up? Do I still have the primary or secondary amount that I can still hold this hotel if it gets absorbed? And it's just, again, simple mechanics of just drawing a tile, placing a tile, seeing if something happens, and then drawing a tile back and then passing it. It's so beautifully done. I feel like Acquire isn't getting much hype nowadays.
No, it's
weirdly enough, but I think it's because it's an older game.
Yeah.
I think St. Saxon's older game, because it got republished by Renegade, it hasn't gotten too much hype nowadays, but I'd be a champion for it. I'm pretty sure you would be.
Oh, 100%.
I would love to get this game into a lot of people's hands because this is such a good game. To me, I would introduce this as how you would get into an economic kind of game.
100%.
Maybe next to like Pan Am.
Yeah.
But this is a great game. This is Acquire.
Nice. I think part of what you said too, why it hasn't gotten that love. One, I don't think it's a pretty looking game, and it looks older than it is.
Yeah, I think it's because it's the grid.
Yeah.
But like when you start putting tiles out and you see the hotel kind of pop up, it's like kind of feels like a city is kind of building out.
Yeah. I think part of
don't
like a lot of gamers love a lot of big production design. If they want to put like
like
those type of tiles, they want to look like
a Foundations of Rome.
kind of, they want it to look big
Yeah.
and grandiose, and Acquire is like, we're going to do the exact opposite. It's the most simple pieces. It's just straight up, the design of the game.
Yeah. But that's great.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be on my list. I think you're going to be surprised where it is on my list, though.
Oh, okay.
But number 21 is a crossover. It's
On this list?
No, it's on 2 videos ago. But this is the Veil of Eternity.
It made up this high?
I really enjoyed that playthrough.
Really?
I love the drafting. I love
my
the how
gosh.
you pay for cards. I love the.
I thought I liked this game.
I love the I don't know why, and I think you like this way more than I do, but I do really enjoy this as well. The card color comes with a specific type of ability. So you go for that specific type of, I'm going to go for blue. It's going to feel a specific way.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that. And Veil of Eternity really takes advantage of that because all those different colors feel very, very different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Nice. So that is our top 30 to 21 video. We're gonna start putting the next ones up a little bit later this month. But we are the Board Adventurers. I'm Mark.
I'm Zoe.
We'll see you on the next adventure.